Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to Southeastern High School and Adams Fiber coverage of Southeastern Sun Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I'm Dwayne Hulett. Tegan Perry is on the camera and under the headset for a little bit anyway. The voice of Hancock County, Keith Yex, is joining us for a few minutes here. Keith, we talked about before we started, I don't know that I was ready for volleyball, but ready or not, here we are, right?
Exactly. I mean, you may not be ready for it, but here it is.
Football's coming up and all kinds of stuff, but we were talking, we're here for varsity matchup for Southeastern. A lot of names are going to be the same, but some key names are not going to be here for Southeastern. This is a group of girls that's had a lot of success through their careers, but they haven't had to do it by themselves at the high school level yet. This is really this junior class's first chance to be the, for lack of a better term, studs of the school.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And, obviously Amanda Stevens is gone, but Kara Stevens is here. You still have Griswold. You still have Rigg. There's
Stark.
some names that are still very good. Jalen Van Beck is going to be a key on the service line, you would have to remember or imagine. And probably at the right side at the front, that's what she's listed as. But it's interesting to see how this team shakes out as the year goes along.
It definitely will. And I talked with Tim Kerr for my preview story coming up in the Hancock County Journal-Pilot next week. Shameless promo there. But and he was saying, he's never liked putting expectations on any of his teams. Back to the team, that was runner-up in state. He just wants the girls to go out and play volleyball and see what happens.
Have fun.
Yeah, he wants them to have fun and love the game. He doesn't want to put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, I think when we had him on our show earlier, or last Thursday, I guess, his thing was we want to win a regional and win 25 games. He goes, if you're able to do that, you've had a really successful year, and that's what it's all about. It's having some success and having fun. And Coach Kerr is the old guy in the house now as far as coaches go. I was giving him a hard time about that. He's plus 30 years now and plus a ton of wins, and he's the guy that everybody looks to, I think, coaching-wise, to see what's going to happen.
There's no doubt about it. Terry Paul is helping over at Macomb, which is great to see her back, doing some coaching in that. But Tim has been the staple here, and every time anybody comes into this gym, their goal is to try to beat a Tim Kerr team.
Yeah. You mentioned Terry Paul being at Macomb, and you've been around a long time. There was a lot of upset stomachs in the Colchester area when they found out that she was going to be at Macomb. Well,
I'm not surprised she is, helping out her niece,
Hillary.
So, it's just good to see that her health is back, that she's able to help.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We'd be remiss if we didn't talk about some football. Obviously, you've been doing the football thing for a long time, too. That season starts this coming Friday.
Yep.
And I think my expectations for both the two, I say both because it's really West Hancock and Illini West, I think both of those teams, from what they were last year, should be a little better this year, don't you think, going in?
Oh, I definitely think Illini West, having that taste of the playoffs, losing to the eventual 2A state champ, who would have thought when we played them in the first round of the playoffs that would have been the case. But they got that taste in their mouth, and West Hancock is trying to get over the hump. They're tired of just winning one game and Lewiston or LVC being the only opponent they beat. And they have a shot Friday night with a Farmington team that lost a lot of pieces from that semifinal team that lost to Chicago Christian.
Illini West, you talk about football, they're looking up. Boy, their volleyball team, though, has a lot to replace with the loss of Reagan Reed and but they should still be pretty solid too, I think, shouldn't they?
I think they should. I saw them at Media Day, and they've got some height, and they got some senior leadership. And Coach Johnson has got those girls playing at a high level. She took them all over the place this summer, and that was huge.
You've been around a long time, kind of like I have. The turnover in volleyball coaching this year has been tremendous. There are tons of new volleyball coaches in the area.
Yep.
Have you seen that many new coaches in one season like it was this year?
No.
I mean, Macomb's got a new one. West Prairie's got a new one. BPC's got a new one. Illini West has a new one. Macomb has a new one. I mean, that's a lot of new volleyball coaches.
Yep. And, Madison Andrews is solo this year. She was part of that three-headed deal they tried last year. She's the head coach this year and taking it on her own, and she has an assistant, and she's got some talent over there, and that will be a fun team to watch down here in the Suns Classic next week. And West Prairie will be here for the first time ever.
Yeah, and that's something that in years past when West Prairie and Colchester were so good, they always played in Effingham and Mount Pulaski. They played in these big tournaments but you always just kind of wished they were here, right? Okay, all ready, Coach? All ready, Coach? Coach trying to hit me with a volleyball already. But as I was saying, you always wanted those games, right? Those games, the Southeastern Colchester, Southeastern West Prairie game was like the game of the year. This Lady Suns Classic is so good, and it's been so good for so long. It's awesome to see them in that tournament now.
Yes, it is. It's awesome to see them come in, since West Central decided they didn't want to make the trip that many times within a week. They had the opening, and with the new coach at West Prairie, they decided why not come down here, and it will be fun to watch.
And their defense for West Central, that's a long trip.
It is
3 or 4 nights. I'm just, but Stephanie Higgins is a new coach at West Central also. She was a very good player in her own right. Mm-hmm. She's got a pretty good team that I think is going to improve too. And I've said this to Coach Kerr a couple times, and I remember, and you probably remember when, Industry was good with Coach Burnham, Coach Heaton. Southeastern was good, and West Prairie was good, and everybody else was just there.
Yep.
And I've said all along that Coach Kerr and Coach Paul, those two have raised the level of volleyball in West Central Illinois so much, I think, just because they needed to. If you're going to compete, you got to compete with those people, right? And I'm sure you feel that way to some extent too, right? As far as those two coaches have had a lot to do with how good volleyball is here now.
Exactly.
Kara Stevenson obviously going to be a huge part of this team for Southeastern. But, everybody's just like everybody looked at Amanda, right? They're going to look at Kara to try to defend her, double block her. As you look down the roster, I think that maybe more than ever, Kinsey Griswold is going to be important for this team.
She's going to be absolutely huge, because everybody's going to be looking at Stevens.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple minutes on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
Minimally invasive surgery offers a variety of benefits to the patient. We are now able to offer patients a variety of operations with small incisions rather than big open incisions. The surgeries that we can do now, minimally invasive, include bariatrics, hernia repair, colorectal surgeries, faster recovery, smaller incisions, faster time back to work.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. You know, work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you, and we have the best teamwork.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District.
And welcome back here to Southeastern High School as we are ready for Adams Fiber coverage of Lady Sons Volleyball here on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I'm Dwayne Hulett. Keith Yex is alongside. And Keith, you're only staying for a set or two of this one, right?
First set, yeah.
Got some other business to take care of tonight. That's kind of what happens when volleyball season kicks off. You're heading to Carthage, is that right?
Yeah. Still trying to get some pictures for a client's ad, and you know, you have to replace those pictures when there's a Stevens and a Reed in them. When they're no longer around, you have to update the pictures.
You have to update the advertising, and got to keep those advertisers happy, don't you?
Exactly.
So here we go, getting ready to go with Lady Sons Volleyball for the first time in 2025. It's the Pittsfield Sockies on the right of your screen and the Lady Sons on the left. Coach Kerr, a little no-look pass right there. Getting his throwback to his point guard days in basketball there. Did you see that?
Yep. And that's been a while.
Yeah, that's been a while. And here we go, getting ready to go. Back to serve. Looks like it's going to be number 12, Lincoln McCartney, a sophomore. And there's a dig by Rigg out to Stevens. Dug in the back row by the libero. He's going to come near side, left side attack. That was at number 25, I think. Can't see the number. Actually, it's number 23, McAllister again. She played the fresh soft game also. Pushed across by Van Beck. Blocked off the, it's going to be dug back up. Nice reaction by Stevens there. And that's going to go a free ball across. Griswold comes up to get it. Middle to Stevens, and she drives it home. First kill of the night goes to Kara Stevens, and the Suns get the early 1-0 lead. Back to serve for the Suns is going to be Morgan Wilcox. Stevens gets the kill. Free ball, Griswold's there. Van Beck, middle to Stevens again, off the net, it's dug up. Going to come left side, McAllister on the attack. Wilcox is there, Van Beck outside. Rigg down the line, oh, what a dig in the back row. That was number 20, Sophie Gingler, but it goes for naught as Wilcox gets her first service point. But man, Keith, what a dig in the back row right there.
Yep, highlighted in the first set.
And an ace. Little serve receive error there, and it's the first ace of the night. And the Suns lead 3-0. Pittsfield won the JV match 25-22, 25-23. Wilcox, a little jump serve, and the libero unable to get out of the way. That was one of those things, it's in, it's out, it's in, it's out. And by the time she decided it was really out, she couldn't get out of the way.
Exactly.
Wilcox back to serve one more time. Her team leads 4-0. Bump set near side. Blocked down by Stevens. Now she's going to hit it into the net on an overpass. The attack was by Shelby Patterson, a senior, that Stevens was able to block, but then she hits it into the net with a hitting error. And a side out. First point of the match for the Sockies. End to serve. Going to be number 30, Josie McClintock, a junior for the Sockies. Van Beck, bump set. Stevens, oh, that was going out of bounds. Going over to put a hand on it was Adriana Starks, but that one was going to go out of bounds, I do believe. And there was that double block we were talking about. Outside, Rigg pushes it down the net. It's dug up. Another touch block. Van Beck, middle. Stevens tips it across and down. Second. Third kill, actually, for Stevens. And it's 5-2. Starks back to serve now. Big hit by Rigg. Tegan Rigg gets the kill. Starks gets the service point. Oh, nice diving dig on a short serve. It's blocked by Stevens. A kill block for Kara Stevens. First of the match.
Have you seen the new fashion statement, these
sleeves?
Arm sleeves?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I can, oh, there's a nice drop serve for Starks. She gets her third point. But I can see him in volleyball because it keeps the sweat off your arms, right? And she's going to serve that one into the net.
And like Pittsfield still has the long sleeve.
Yep.
Jerseys, so.
End of the game going to be number 32, Kinley Griggs, the sophomore for Pittsfield. Middle, Stevens off the net, Doug. Near side, can be pushed across. Bump set by Van Beck, hit by Rigg. It's dug up. It's going to be a free ball. Nope, bump set. I thought she was sending across. There's an overpass out of bounds. That's a good call, just barely. It wasn't out by much, Keith, but it was out. We had a perfect look at that right down the line. Back to serve for the first time is going to be Kara Stevens. Checking in for the Suns. Riley Hart, who had a good JV contest, is going to be into the ball game. There's an overpass. Griswold, Stevens, who's setting in the back row, off the hand of Rigg. It's going to be dug up. A free ball comes across. Starks is there. Oh, and I don't know who that was supposed to go to, but Griswold went up and got it and gets the kill. It's 10-3. It was a little long for Griswold. Griswold looked a little short for Rigg as far as distance between the two of them, but Griswold was able to get to it. Stevens gets her first service point. Outside, big hit, dug by Starks. Stevens punches it up, and Stevens is in the net, side out.
Tried to do too much.
Well, she's a setter. She's supposed to go get that second ball. She did the best she could. Kinley Gerard, a senior, checking in for Pittsfield, going back to serve now with her team down by 6. Pittsfield has got one block. They have not had an offensive point yet. Off the ceiling, dug up. It's going to be a free ball. Nice free ball. Starks goes down to get it. Stevens out to Rigg, way long.
She airmailed it.
And it's out of bounds. Hitting air. And the first service point of the match for the Sockies. It's 10-5. Stevens, quick to, and that's going to be,
a lift.
They call the lift, and
Tim Kerr didn't think so.
Another hitting error. I think, and there's a hitting error. I think that is going to be a problem early in this season. Is we're going to see way more illegal hits, lifts, doubles on the third touch than we've seen ever in volleyball. And that's because the second is gone. And there's a block by Griswold. A kill block for Kinsey Griswold. And a side out back to the Suns. They lead 11-7. Hop in that live chat. Tell us where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. It's a nice dig on the serve receive. A tip across. And it went back across, and it's going to be a point. Sometimes you're good, and sometimes you're lucky, and that was a lucky one right there, I do believe.
Yep.
Rigg is going to get the point, her first service point. 12-7. the score. Back row attack coming. That was off the hands of Gerard. There's Griswold, deep right corner. Doug, middle. On the attack was Gingler. Tipped across. Stevens is going to push it back. Back set across. One arm dig, gets it back on an overpass. Outside Gingler. Dug by Starks. Griswold sends a free ball across. Going down to get it. Now back set on the attack. Nice attack and a back set by Griggs. And out of bounds. A good long rally. That hit out of bounds by Griswold. But a point and a side out for Pittsfield. Back to service, should say, is Sophie Gingler. Her team down by 4. And a foot fault, I guess is what they called. Jalen Van Beck checking back in. The setter opposite of Kara Stevens. Van Beck was one of the team's best servers last year. Oh, what a job to get that across, and what a job to bring it back. Now Griswold is dug. Outside it comes. McAllister, dug by Stevens. Van Beck, down the line, Griswold went, but out of bounds. And another side out. Going back to serve now is Kinley Griggs, a sophomore, number 32, with her team down by 4 at 13-9. Van Beck, back set to Griswold. Tips it across. Out of system, a bump set. Tipped and blocked by Wilcox. Griswold with the little tip and a kill. Gets the ball back for the Suns. She gets her second kill of the night. She'll come back to serve. She has not scored an offensive point. See if she can get one here. End of the net. She cannot. I jinxed her. Once again, live chat's open. Hop in there. Tell us where you're watching from, who you're cheering for. Hopefully you can hear us. It shows that you can hear us. I'm guessing you can hear us. Outside, Stevens. Right on the line. And I say right on the line because it was close enough that Pittsfield was calling it out.
Yeah.
15-10. Wilcox back to serve now. Deep.
Would have been out.
Giving a one-arm swing at it was Shelby Patterson. It is an ace, but as Keith said, I think that very well could have been out if they'd have let it go. You're watching Adams Fiber coverage of TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH Southeastern Sun Sports. 16-10, set 1. Southeastern with the lead. We'll take a break. We'll be back right after this.
I chose physical therapy because I knew I wanted to be in the healthcare field. I wanted to be able to help patients in some way related to more in depth. We get to know our patients, and that's really what kind of sets us apart.
And welcome back, Keith. Off air, I said that Southeastern and really Pittsfield, for that matter, don't look bad. I mean, both teams look pretty good for a first or second match of the season.
Yeah. Tim Kerr said he was a little worried because Pittsfield opened up last night, and so they had a match under their belt coming in here. You know, this team for him, he knows they can perform. They just got to go out and prove it.
Yeah, like we said, this team has had success on their own. They don't have to have other people to make them good. They've had some success, so we'll see if they're able to carry that to the varsity level, as juniors were state champions as 7th graders and made it to state as 8th graders. And Wilcox is going to get another ace. I gave Van Beck some props about being a great server last season. Well, Morgan Wilcox has got 4 aces and 5 points here, and it's 17-10. Largest lead of the match for the Suns. Middle. Big block by Stevens. Pushed across. And it's going to fall a couple touches. Not a kill, but it is a side out, which is ultimately what Pittsfield really needed. Going back to serve is going to be Josie McClintock, the junior, for Pittsfield. Her team trails by 6 now. There's some problems on communications, but they're going to get it across with a free ball. Outside. Gingler on the attack. And she's ultimately going to get the kill off a diving Griswold. And that is the first point not scored by a Girard. And the first kill. In the net went Stevens, but he did get across. And dropping it down again was Sophie Gingler. She's got a couple kills in a row, and McClintock's got a couple service points in a row, and it's back to a 4-point game, 17-13. Van Beck tries to tip it across. They're not going to get it. Huh, okay. I must have got touched at the net. Van Beck, Stevens tips it down the line, and she'll get another kill and a side out, more importantly, for the Suns. That's 4 kills for Kara Stevens here in set number 1. 18-13 is the score. Back to serve again is Adriana Starks. She's got 3 service points, including 1 ace. And a lift is going to be called. Another point for Starks. The serve has been really good for Southeastern. Starks with a dig. Middle. Down again and in. That time using the left hand to tip it down was Kara Stevens. Give her 5 kills and 5 points now for Adriana Starks. Don't think that's a coincidence, do you?
No.
And an overpass. And Kara Stevens uses it to full advantage. Gets the kill. 21-13. Starks now leads all servers with 6 service points. Gingler blocked by Stevens. Tipped over. Van Beck back to Rigg. Down the line it goes again. And diving to get it was Gingler, but she hit it into the net. And nobody could get there to dig it out of the net. We'll give Rigg a kill for that. That'll be her second. And yet another service point for Starks. Unofficially 7 for her. Stevens drives one home. Van Beck, another set assist. 7 points of kills, for Stevens, and that would be 7 points for Starks, and she goes back to serve again.
Putnam came in.
And Stevens with the block that time. It's match or set point. Stevens gets her second point as Kylie Putnam is in the game, as Keith said. Van Beck, middle, Stevens, down and in again. Heads up on the scorer's table, and that's going to be set point or game point. 25-13. A big service run down the stretch by Adriana Starks gives the Suns a 25-13 win here in set number 1. Keith, thanks for staying and talking to me for a few minutes there.
We'll catch you along the way during the Classic for sure.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you, Keith.
Yep.
Keith Yex talking to us for a few minutes. We'll take a break. Set 1 is in the books. Suns lead 1-0. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Minimally invasive surgery offers a variety of benefits to the patient. We are now able to offer patients a variety of operations with small incisions rather than big open incisions. The surgeries that we can do now Minimally invasive include bariatrics, hernia repair, colorectal surgeries, faster recovery, smaller incisions, faster time back to work.
I like to make time for my patients. I don't ever want anyone to feel rushed. I'm happy to sit and talk for as long as they need. And sometimes that puts me behind in my schedule, but I think it's worth it. People know if they need me that I'll be there.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District Hospital. I've had patients come to me that maybe have not had care in the community, care available, so with the addition of nurse practitioners lately, we've been able to add more care, and that's very rewarding to me. My hope is that when the patients leave at the end of an appointment, they leave and they definitely feel like they've been listened to, and they feel like their needs have been met, their cares have been met, and that they're going to get the proper treatment that they deserve from me as a provider.
You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. Work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you. And we have the best teamwork. They're like a second family. Sometimes you can't get that feeling other places.
And welcome back here to Southeastern High School. So we are here for Adams Fiber coverage of Lady Sons Volleyball on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. I'm Dwayne Hulett, taking Perry on camera. And Kinsey Griswold back to serve things up in set number 2. As you can see, it was a 25-13 set 1 win for the Lady Sons in the first set. So we'll serve it up here. As very short serve. There's an attack from the back row. Griswold goes to get it. Van Beck tracks it down. Free ball sent across by Griswold. Good chance to run the offense here for Pittsfield, and they hit it out of bounds. Griswold gets her first service point. Adriana Starks led all servers with 9 service points, including 1 ace in the first set. Morgan Wilcox led everybody with 4 aces and passing error. Griswold gets another service point. Wilcox had 5 service points. Kara Stevens led with 7 kills and a couple blocks. There's a service error, gets a serve over to the Sockies. And number 12, Lincoln McCartney, a sophomore, back to serve. Patterson comes into the front row for the Sockies. McAllister will go over to left as they switch. Outside, Stevens. Oh, a nice high set. Stevens timed it perfectly and drives another one home. She's got 8 kills now. And a side out for the Suns. They lead 3-0. Morgan Wilcox comes back to serve. She was the hardest server for the Sockies to return, but she ended up with 5 service points. And another one there as an ace again for Morgan Wilcox. She's got 5 of them now. 6 points, 5 aces. She has stumped the Sockies with her serve. Not a real high or hard jump serve as far as jump serves go. Van Beck bump set over to Rigg. Rigg up, dug in the back row by Mariah Thomas. It came outside the pole, and it's going to be another point for the Suns. Wilcox up to 7 service points now. Blocked by Stevens, dug up. Patterson now into the net, dug by Van Beck. They're out of system. Starks sets it to the net, and I think that was almost a fake by Emma Wombles. She went to the net like she was going to hit it, and Stevens didn't go after it, and I think it fell on the Sun side of the net. Back to serve, going to be number 30, Josie McClintock. Datelyn McAllister, or excuse me, number 30, Josie McClintock. And Gingler's in the front row. She had the attack there, tipped across. Back set, Patterson blocked by Stevens. Dug up by Wombles. Wilcox, Rigg going down to get that was McClintock. Now it's going to be pushed across and going to call a double hit. And that probably was a true double hit that time. As a side out and coming back to serve is going to be Adriana Starks. 9 service points in set number 1 to lead all servers. Her team leads 6-2. And Gingler is going to get the kill through the block of Kara Stevens. Gingler has 3 kills to lead the Sakis, and that was a very low serve. You might have seen Kara Stevens start to go after. It looked like it might have been a let serve, but it did actually hit the tape and fall. Riley Hart going to check in. Jalen Van Beck checks out for the Suns. Stevens is serve, pushed across from the back row. Kara Stevens, middle to Kinsey Griswold, dug up there. And back set to Patterson, and she's going to get a kill. Number 15, Shelby Patterson, gets her first kill, and another side out for the Sakis. Coming in to serve for the Sakis is Kinley Gerard. She got the first service points of the match. She served 3 in a row at one point. She dropped another one there, and it's going to go an ace. She has been very good for the Sakis. At the service line, 7-5. Her team trails by 2 here early in set number 2. Griswold deep to the libero, middle. Pushed across by Kinley Griggs. Now it's going to be, and that was out of bounds, but Rigg is going to get some help from Gerard, and Rigg is going to get the kill. Tegan Rigg gets her third, and she's going to come back to serve now. The junior, who's a very good singer as well, sings the national anthem quite often, and they're going to call a double hit. Probably could have been called a lift or a double hit, whichever way you want to call it. Rigg's going to get the service point. It'll be her second of the match. Back to a 4-point lead now. More troubles. It's going to be a free ball coming across. Rigg is there. Stevens, quick middle to Wilcox, who leaves it a little short. They acted like maybe Griggs got a part of that. I didn't think it got over the net, so I'm not going to give her a block. Looks like back to serve is going to be Mariah Thomas, number 11. That's out of bounds, but Rigg digs it. Now Hart on the attack, and she's going to have a hitting error. Thomas is going to get her first service point of the night. Back to a 2-point game, 9-7. If you can hear me okay, hop in that live chat. Somebody say hi to me tonight. Hop in that live chat. Tell us where you're watching from. Or just say, yes, we can hear you, whichever way you want to do it. Griswold pushes it across. Punched up by Wilcox. That was Griggs pushing that one across. Now back to Wilcox. She's going to go right side, and she's going to go left side, excuse me. She's going to get the kill. Morgan Wilcox has served well, but that's her first kill of the night. The second middle for the Suns gets her first kill. Back to serve. Jalen Van Beck has yet to pick up a service point. Drops one to the libero. Back set. Griggs, and Griggs is going to get the kill. Kinley Griggs gets her first kill of the night. Out of bounds on the attack, a hitting error. And it's 10-9. That is Griggs back there serving. She gets her first service point. Leaves it short. Rigg went down to get it. Van Beck tips it across, punched back across by Wombles. Now Starks hits it across. Now it's going to go back to Wombles. Off the net, dug by Rigg. And Van Beck can't get there to it. It's 10-10. Rigg's going to get her second service point. 25-13 the score in set number 1. And a kill for the Suns. Griswold back to serve. Suns have not trailed. It was tied at 10. Wilcox now to the left with Stevens in the middle. Stevens goes to get it. Van Beck back to the middle to Stevens. Off the hands. And a kill for Stevens. Just her second of the set. She's up to 9 for the match, though. And Griswold gets another service point. 12-10 the score. And a service error gives it back. Back to serve is going to be number 12, Lincoln McCartney, as we have went through a rotation now. Stevens, Van Beck, back to Stevens. Tips it across. Free ball. That was McAllister. Middle, Stevens. Off Doug. That was McCartney, the setter. Tipped it across. Now it's going to be Doug. And pushed deep corner. It's out of bounds. McCartney, good thought, but pushed it a little too hard. And it's a side out. Coming back to serve is going to be Morgan Wilcox. Kinsey Griswold has a couple service points. Rigg has one, and Wilcox has 3, I believe, and that's about it. It's been a lot of side outs here in this set number 2. Van Beck out to Rigg. Off the ceiling. A good job to go get it, and it goes into the net, though. And it's going to be a point for the Suns and Wilcox. I want to say hi to Pastor Tom listening in Plymouth. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you hopping on and saying hi to us. Good to have you along again this year. Morgan Wilcox serves it up again. Griswold, Van Beck, middle, Stevens off the net, dug up and a kill. Did not get a good pass. 10 kills for Stevens. 9 service points now for Wilcox, including 5 aces. 15-11 is the score. There's an ace again. And a timeout. It's going to be charged to the Saki. 6 points, 10 aces, or 10 points, 6 aces for Morgan Wilcox. We'll take a break, and we'll be back. You're watching Adams Fiber coverage of Lady Suns sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
You get the opportunity to see so many different things that if you worked at a bigger hospital, you may not be able to see. You know, work is not just about the job, it's also about the people that work alongside you. And we have the best teamwork. They're like a second family. Sometimes you can't get that feeling other places.
And welcome back to Southeastern High School here in Augusta, Illinois. My first broadcast of the season is Lady Suns Volleyball. Lady Suns Volleyball brought to you by Ron Elby Auto Sales with locations in Macomb and Augusta. With 80 years of car sales experience, Ron Elby Auto Sales is your hometown go-to for your next car. In Macomb on East Jackson, stop in and talk to Justin, Jared, or Chris. Visit ronlb.com to check out their inventory. Adams Experts, looking for top-notch local computer and sales repair services? Call Adams Experts in Quincy at 217-214-3423 for fast, friendly, and affordable assistance. We make technology work. That's Adams Experts, your go-to when your computer goes down. And Wilcox is going to get another ace. 11 points, 7 aces for Wilcox. Sports Corner at 124, also a sponsor. We had 3 big shows this past week at Sports Corner at 124. I want to thank Brian, Johnny, and the crew for always being such gracious hosts. Outside, Rigg on the attack. It's dug up, and in the net was somebody on the Saki side. It might have been it wasn't McAllister. I'm not sure who it was, to be honest with you. I do know it was a point nonetheless. It's 18-11. And a hitting error. Make it 19-11. Unofficially 13 service points for Wilcox now. 19-11 is the score. An overpass. No, it hit the net. A chance to get it back. Dug it out of the net. Couldn't do anything with it. Wilcox 14 service points unofficially here. She had 5 in set 1. Seven aces altogether. Wilcox, Van Beck, middle Stevens, off the block. Pushed the ball back down. I don't know if Stevens actually touched that when it went back across or not. Then McAllister went up and just took a swing and a miss. Checking back in is going to be number 5, Kylie Putnam, as Starks takes a seat. Make it 15 service points unofficially for Morgan Wilcox. 21-11. This game was 10-10, folks. And there's a service error to stop the bleeding for the Sakis. A couple subs coming in for the Sakis. Gingler coming in. Also number 30, Josie McClintock. McAllister and number 11, Mariah Thomas take a seat. Back to serve is Josie McClintock. She does have 2 service points tonight. Her team trails by 9. Middle Stevens on the attack, and down it goes. Kara Stevens gets another kill, unofficially her 11th. And coming back to serve is going to be Kylie Putnam. Kylie, a 5'5" outside hitter, wears number 5. He's a 3 of a kind in the 5 department for Kylie Putnam. A full house if you count that she's a junior, so she's got the 11 there, just a pair of 1s. And there's a hit deep and out. A hitting error makes it 23-12, and Kylie Putnam gets her first service point. Right side. That was a nice serve. Gingler was there, though. That is Patterson on the attack. Middle, Stevens down it. No, nice dig in the back row by McClintock, but McCartney couldn't get there. Give Stevens another kill there as it wasn't a good pass. Putnam gets her second service point, and it's match point. Kylie Putnam off the bench, a chance to close this one out for the Lady Suns as she serves it up, serves it across. And she's going to get an ace to end things. Kylie Putnam ends with 1 ace, 3 service points, and the Lady Suns win 25-13, 25-12 here in 2 sets over the Pittsfield Sakis. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back in just a few minutes with some stats and then have another interview with Coach Kerr in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching Adams Fiber coverage of Lady Suns Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH.
It was the community that really drew me back to Macomb. I'm from a small community, and I'm from a farm family, and ultimately I always wanted to practice in a place like that, and I felt that I had the ability to connect to people who with a similar background from me, and the fact that the staff members at the hospital and the support, all the support staff at the hospital was also focused with the goal of patient care. It felt like it just all came hammered at home for me.
I like to make time for my patients. I don't ever want anyone to feel rushed. I'm happy to sit and talk for as long as they need. And sometimes that puts me behind in my schedule, but I think it's worth it. People know if they need me that I'll be there.
There's been a lot of rewarding parts working at McDonough District Hospital. I've had patients come to me that maybe have not had care in the community, care available. So with the addition of nurse practitioners lately, we've been able to add more care, and that's very rewarding to me. My hope is that when the patients leave at the end of an appointment, they leave and they definitely feel like they've been listened to, and they feel like their needs have been met, their cares have been met, and that they're going to get the proper treatment that they deserve from me as a provider.
Welcome back here to Southeastern High School, Augusta, Illinois. Post-game show getting ready to come to you. This broadcast being brought to you by Adams Fiber. They bring you all of Suns sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Unofficial stats here: 7 aces included in 15 service points for Morgan Wilcox, 9 service points including 1 ace for Adriana Starks. Those all came in set number 1. 3 points, including the final 3 points and an ace for Kylie Putnam. 3 points for Griswold, 2 points for Rigg, and 1 point for Kara Stevens. 3 kills apiece for Griswold and Rigg, 1 for Wilcox. And the player of the game, not a surprise, 12 unofficial kills and 2 blocks for Kara Stevens. As the stats not very big for Pittsfield on their side of the scoreboard. 4 service points for Kinley Gerard, which had 1 ace. Mariah Thomas had a point. Josie McClintock had 2 points. Kinley Griggs had a couple points. A block for Emma Wombles, a kill for Griggs, 3 kills for Gingler, a block for Patterson, and a kill for Patterson unofficially. And alongside now Coach Kerr. Talked to you quite a bit the last week or so.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
You can't hear me. Put that right there. There you go.
Oh, okay.
You might hear it. Let me see.
You're good.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. When we put all that stuff away from our meeting the other night, we didn't get the splitter in, so you could hear.
Okay.
So you talked to me quite a bit in the last week or
yes,
so, but
absolutely.
Good. I don't think you could ask for a whole lot more in the first game of their first match of the year, could you?
No, I don't think so. I thought our kids came out and really played solid, had enthusiasm, had energy, did a lot of nice things. The exciting part about that, I thought, was, Pittsfield's not a bad little squad, and, we obviously had good success with them, and I think we could play better. I thought there were some things that, especially look at Kinsey. I'm sure Kinsey as a senior would have liked to have this game would have gone better for her, but, she's a stud. She's going to get some kills for us, and she didn't get very many tonight. So,
I had her for 3.
Yeah, we had 2 or 3 also. So, once we kind of get that rolling a little bit, we're going to have that good second option for us. But I thought Morgan Wilcox was fantastic, especially from the service line. Tegan does a great job wherever she plays, and she got some nice swings. And those kids are going to have to step up for us this year. They've been playing, roles of just the kind of stand and watch everybody else do it. They're going to have to be the ones that do it this year. So I thought this was a great start for us, and I thought it served well and did a good job. I thought on serve receive, didn't let their serves hurt us too bad. So it's just going to be a good formula for us. Hopefully, if we can keep it up.
Yeah, I think there's maybe 1 or 2 serves that went more than 1 point.
Yeah.
So obviously you like that on
Sure.
serve receive to start the season. I had Wilcox for 15 service points and 7 aces.
Yeah, I think Autumn told me she had that was 7 aces also. So, and she's someone who she's going to really be a key for us this year. She's someone who's kind of just made herself into a pretty good volleyball player. She wasn't always the most athletic. She has gotten a little bit longer, a little bit of size, and she's worked really hard, and she's played a little bit in the summer. And to get herself better, and she really is going to be important to us offensively. Obviously, from the service line, she can go back there and do what she did tonight. That's going to be really important for us. And defensively, she did a good job as well. She's someone who is just going to keep getting better offensively for us. You're going to probably see, hopefully, more swings from her, more kills out of her. But right now, just being solid for us. She's someone who. We talk to her a lot during practice and in non-game situations of just she's probably better right now at playing about 75%. Effort, because when she tries to swing too hard, sometimes she hits in the net, or sometimes she goes out of bounds, and sometimes she tries too hard. But when she just calms down and plays solid and gives that kind of 75% effort, which is kind of a key number that we give her, she's pretty effective. You saw her take a little bit off of her serves a couple times, and I don't know how many of those balls that she hit were out, but they kept playing them, so it was good for us, I suppose.
The whole key, right, is get them close enough to where they can't decide. One of them that she served was the one where the libero back there was it's in, it's out. It's
Yeah,
in. You could see her just like doing this, and
Yes.
then the last second she tried to get out of the way and couldn't.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
You know, Kara Stevens is going to be the go-to most times, and there's no doubt. I had her for 12 kills and 2 blocks, so she had a pretty good night. But one of the things you mentioned when you first came up here talking about these kids is that they have to step up. They haven't had that role, but they've been in situations where they have. You know, it's been a while. I mean, the junior high, they're a state championship team. They went to state their 8th grade year without Kara.
Right.
So these girls, it's not like they haven't been in pressure situations.
For sure.
So you just kind of expect them to maybe, I mean, they're going to have some growing pains probably as juniors, but it's not like you can't expect some stuff out of them.
No, you're right. They really know how to play the game well. They're so smart. You know, they remind me a little bit, and really all the teams we've had the last 4 years are just so intelligent. And sometimes I feel like I'm over there for no reason. I like just watching them because they seem like they make the right play all the time. And you know, we got some growing pains to do on some of that and making some decisions on who to set or whatever. But they really have had really good careers already. You know, and as juniors, they've done a good job. They had a really good JV year last year, and you know, you mentioned how we did at state and junior high. So you know, that one we need to mention her more often.
I was getting ready to say.
you look at Jalen Van Beck and you see her walking down the hallways, and you know, she doesn't look like a varsity volleyball player, but man, she's tough. You know, she's worked on her strength a little bit. You know, she's very intelligent and understands the game and really makes a lot of the right decisions. So you know, if we can keep her going and keep her dishing the ball out to our hitters, it's going to be really important for us because you know, she's at the front end of you know, most of those kills from Kara. So they really work well together, and you know, she's a smart kid and a smart player, and you know, we've been successful with short setters in the past, and hopefully we'll be able to do that again.
One of the things that I think people forget is, and I mentioned it, she was a very good server for you guys last year. She didn't have any service points tonight, but probably maybe focusing a little more on being back at the varsity level, now being the setter. You know, at least, you know, 3 rotations. She's the setter now, and that's you can't put away the fact that she was the setter. She's been the setter for these girls, this group of girls. So it's not like she's new to setting, but anybody that just watches you at varsity wouldn't know that probably.
Yeah, you're right. She's kind of someone who's kind of comes out of the woodwork, and you know. But I remember, you know, people mentioning just how well she does. You know, all the way back in the 7th grade. You know, just really smart and good hands and does a lot of nice things. So you're right. She set the whole year last year on the JV level, and she's, you know, just not really missing the beat this year so far. So it's nice to see her have that success, and hopefully she'll continue to do that. You know, you talked about the service line for us. You know, she's someone who we really and I mean, strength is an issue for her. She needs to get stronger, and you know, and she will, and she has. But she's someone who, serving wise, she really does a lot of good serves. Like, she serves the ball short, and we're trying to work on her, trying to mix it up. So sometimes when she gets a little scared of serving that ball short, she kind of floats it in the kind of the middle of the defense, and it becomes an easy ball. So we're really working on her in practice of trying to, you know, place the ball, you know, hit seams, and try to really keep the ball out of the middle of the floor and hit the ball to, you know, people we want to hit the ball to, and you know, hit some balls short, then hit some balls long and stuff. So if she can continue to do that, she'll be successful for us too. But yeah, she served a really high percentage. She probably served 95-96% last year. So that's you know, when you have a stronger team, sometimes just getting the ball in bounds is important. You know, we look at, you know, Kinsey tonight, and she missed 2 or 3 serves, and you know, I went on a rant at one point and told Autumn, went down the line and told Autumn she can't be serving 20% if Kara's in the front row. So you know, some things we have to look at and tweak. But you know, like you said, for the first match, very, very happy with how we came out and kind of handled our business.
Yeah, well, I won't keep you any longer. You got a whole lot of talking to do next week, probably.
Absolutely, we'll be there. That's one of my favorite weeks.
I was going to say, how excited are you to get that thing going, the Lady Sons Classic?
Yeah, it's super fun. It's nice to see all the teams, and just you know, getting everybody together, and you know, big crowds, and you know, good volleyball, and just kind of see where everybody shakes out in the area. And you know, you have you know, a lot of kind of upstart teams, some teams that maybe normally haven't traditionally been you know, real strong, and they're on the upswing. So you look at Barry Western last night; they won. They beat West Hancock last night in their opening round, and Central and Brown County had a really tough match last night too. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how it goes, and obviously we want to put ourselves in a position where we're bringing home some hardware, as they say, on Saturday. So we'll start with Beardstown on Tuesday, and hopefully continue the role we've started tonight, and continue to play well and kind of serve on our home court for sure.
Well, Coach, I'll let you get out of here. Thanks for letting us join you again this year.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome.
We will see you next week a whole bunch.
Sounds
Make
like a
sure you
plan.
have the hospitality room ready for me, okay?
We have plans, and I think Coach Long is kind of ramrodding some of that, so he's already got some stuff cooked up for that. So we'll have that in full force for sure.
Well, and make sure you tell the officials to let me know when they're taking that break between games, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the important part. That's the important part.
If you work it right, you could get 2 or 3 meals out of this every night. So.
I know. Lord knows I don't need them.
Well,
can we just have snacks or something like that? Can I do that?
I know. My best diets are tomorrow diets. I'll start tomorrow. So.
That's about the only diet.
Exactly.
That's the only diet I'm good at right there. All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Coach Kerr talking to us for a few minutes. Thanks for joining us tonight here on Adams Fiber coverage of Southeastern Sports on TSSR Game Time Live, presented by MDH. Once again, 25-13, 25-12. The Suns get a win over Pittsfield. The Lady Suns Classic is next week. Make sure to stop in for every bit of it. For Tegan Perry, I'm Dwayne Hulett. Thanks for watching. Bye.